Welcome to the show, Twitch. We're talking about all the things we hoard here at the Mandible, Judy,
Not
Cast
all
and Crew.
of them.
Not all of them. Well, the things that sit in my bedside table will stay there. Beyond that, beyond that, we're talking about
to quickly pile next to my chair.
the things we hoard on a PG-13 show.
Yes.
So put away your Playboys, bring out the puppets, but not the ones that, hang up in creepy fashion.
What? I mean, hey.
All right, exceptions should
What
be
you talking
made.
about?
That's a fair point. So with the
This
stream
one
today,
showed up last week.
we got Bonnie Bogovich back, bringing in
Hello.
her collection of puppets, and it's pretty substantial. I mean, as far as people who have like significant puppets, yours are awesome.
And this is just the ones that are in my office. I've got a bin in my closet in the back with way more, but I just brought the nerdy ones out.
I mean, I don't know that we would think any less of you if you didn't bring in the nerdy ones. So I'm actually, now that I'm curious that you've qualified the nerdy ones, what are the non-nerdy puppets?
Yeah. Like, do you need me to get the bin?
I mean, if you can just remember off the top
I can
of your
describe
head.
them. Do you want me to actually show you or So I've got a collection of chicken puppets from my singing chicken choir.
Oh,
called
you
the
do?
Block
Yeah, that's right.
Choir.
That
The
qualifies as nerdy.
BWAKchoir.com. So I've got 6 of those that I custom sewed their faces so they were actually dolls that I turned into puppets. I've got a piranha plant I've got a piranha plant puppet from Smash from Nintendo because I perform in Super Smash Opera and Aria Kart as a variety of characters, including a singing piranha plant.
How is that not nerd? Bonnie, we need to reclassify what your definition of nerd is.
I'm not sure about, really not sure about the way you're separating things.
My chickens do sing video game music covers. Their first track was the Chocobo theme from Final Fantasy.
Yeah, firmly in
on
the
YouTube.
nerd range. Oh my
But
word.
otherwise, I mean, there's like a rat and a unicorn and some dinosaur like hand puppet things. So, but I thought at least for tonight, the more relevant ones, knowing you guys, I brought the horror ones out, like Necronomicon.
I'm in such envy of the Necronomicon. That's such a badass one.
Amazing. That's beautiful.
And it's foam, so you could really beat people over the head with it because it's huge.
Oh my god, beautiful.
Mandible Judy does not advocate physical violence against cosplayers or normies.
Yeah. Oh, and the other ones that I brought to show today were... These are technically supposed to be puppets. I was mad when I finally got them because even though they are the Happy... I think it's like Happy Fun Time or Happy Time episode of Angel, right? From the Whedonverse. In the show, there was Angel, who became a puppet. Yeah, nice. And he looks fantastic. Like, look at this jacket. He's even got little booties.
Awesome.
But he is not puppetable unless I take a pair of scissors and do some very horrible things to the back of this little head.
You couldn't.
So you can do like It's flat. It goes back up and shuts itself, but it's not. Other than this and like
until it's like 3 a.m. and you're fast asleep and it's sitting in the corner of the room and a light.
I'm watching you while you sleep.
Bonnie.
Exactly. I have
learn your alphabet.
You hear
and we were talking before we started streaming that apparently the Spike doll looks like Andy Warhol.
Yeah.
He looks like a very kind of macho kind of Andy Warhol if he was a thug from the 40s.
Yeah,
with,
very butch Andy Warhol. I agree.
If Andy Warhol had like,
it's mostly his hair and his clothes.
It's the hair and the eyebrow. It's the upper half of his face.
Like.
That's pretty fantastic, and it's also
I like how they gave him like red around his eyes because he's a moody vampire too.
Well, let's be honest.
But it's sad because it works, except you can't,
You can't.
to open his mouth. You have to be like, get her open.
You can't literally work him like that. I've always.
I mean, other than like you can walk him around with his head pulled, but you can't make the mouth open without doing this. So, but I still love him. He's so jagged.
He's a beautiful
Spike
He's
was
like
always the quintessential heroin addict of every vampire that I think we've ever known. And we all loved him despite, or maybe even because of it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's my guilty confession, but I always loved Spike. Was absolutely my favorite character out of all of them. What a tortured soul, and you just couldn't help but love him. Like, oh, you're redeemable.
And that last, the season where he was locked in the basement and had to wear Xander's clothing and was wearing floral print Hawaiian shirts the whole time. That was pretty good. And before we, the other two pieces I have on the floor nearby from Evil Dead verse, other than Ashy Slashy and Necronomicon, I've got two action figures here. I've got the Bruce Campbell figure with with the hand from Army of Darkness. So he's like, "Rrr." And then I've also
his
got
boomstick.
Shop S Smart Bruce.
Very
and his
nice.
little coasting.
So
thingy.
I think it bears questioning.
There you go. That chin.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You can't be Bruce Campbell and not have an epic effing chin. Although from that angle he looks almost more like what's his butt from
What's his butt?
Yeah, what's his butt
his
from
head's
Big
tilted,
Fish or damn it, The Watchmen. What's his name?
What's his butt from Watchmen?
Yeah. Who then became Dr. Manhattan?
Oh, geez, that guy.
Gosh, what's his name?
That guy.
What's his butt?
What's his butt?
What's his butt? Yeah, right there. That guy.
Look, Dr. Manhattan has one hell of a badonkadonk. I don't think we can, any of us, deny that blue ass.
And it's blue.
Yes, that's the body part that everybody always remembers from Dr. Manhattan.
I mean,
looking around.
I mean,
PG-13.
It was PG-13. It was not PG-13. It was 100% not PG-13.
Why don't I let you take a few bites and we can A and B roll here. We can what's the term I'm looking for? Hand off. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got tons of stuff, but I want to hear what you guys have too.
I'm gonna show. Wait, do you have anything?
I don't. I'm just gonna MC this. I would show you my massive treasure trove, but I don't want to put anyone off.
I'm just gonna give you a real quick overview. I've got collectible figures, various movie weird collectible items, anime, and especially Astro Boy and Ultraman. But then I've got I've collected political posters for a while. I still do, but I haven't had a chance to get any good ones.
No,
but I've got a few
political posters.
Really weird, like Soviet over the Iron Curtain, across the Iron Curtain movie posters.
There's no inverted like Trees of Life here. We're not talking about that kind of political poster.
No, it's like various God, I'm just like.
Can you hold up an example for us so we can see what you're talking
about? I'll get to the posters. I'm going to start with the easy stuff because it's right here. Let me start with Pokemon. I've just got a few Pokemon Bank.
What the hell is that?
I can't remember which. This is something Puff. It's the other Puff besides Jigglypuff.
I was about to say it's not a Jigglypuff, because Jigglypuff is way more svelte than that.
Know what this one's called? I can't remember. It's got a groovy hairdo. And it turns out it's a bank.
Is it a Wigglytuff? I think I'm going to be silly, but I think it's a Wigglytuff.
I think it's a Wigglytuff because the wig. Yeah, that makes sense. And then, of course, my favorite was
the Jigglypuff. Everyone's
I just love that draws, mustaches and things on people's faces while they're sleeping.
I love Jigglypuff because I play up in a show.
Chonk.
Play Jiggly Chini.
Oh, excellent.
And we call it Chini Puff.
And I've got a tiny little,
an itty bitty one.
And then really quickly, I've got
don't fall asleep next to the Jigglypuff. You'll wind up with dicks on your face.
Yeah, yeah.
This is my second favorite Pokemon.
PG-13.
Right.
Oh.
Eevee.
I always wanted one of those in real life.
Eevees
As
are
an action
adorable.
figure.
I agree. Of
Yeah.
of the things that are Pokemon esque, the Eevee was always the one that was like, oh, I want that.
And I don't remember. I think this is the evolved form of Eevee, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a fire.
I will offset my complete lack of collectibles with my embarrassing knowledge of Pokemon. That's a Flareon.
Thank you, Flareon. And it is the evolved.
You're welcome. It is the evolved. One of the evolved.
Okay.
There's like 6 evolved.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Further tipping
sense.
my geek hat.
I already really quickly, briefly showed you, but these are,
No, bring
fairly
those back
common.
up. Bring those back up. Bring those back up.
Okay,
Because
so
off
Gumby and
off stream they didn't. We showed those. We didn't see those on stream.
Yeah, no. So they are, they're bendable, rubbery.
For all you millennial
not
fucks,
quite as bad.
of which I am.
I had some of
firmly in
those,
that,
and
yeah.
they would come in Happy Meals.
They certainly would.
I had some Gumby figures that came in my Happy Meals, and I collected a Pokey and a Prickle that way.
Pokey
Yeah,
and
Prickle's
Gumby. I don't
Blockhead.
remember
So
Prickle was the dinosaur.
Oh
And he
yeah.
was the yellow dinosaur. 'Cause he was
Okay.
prickly.
Prickle
so he was
And Prickle's best friend, Goo, which was a weird drop of goo, basically.
the female character was called
Goo.
Goo. And she
Yeah.
was a pile of blue goo, and that was what they made.
Yeah, but at least to offset the like sort of amorphous quality of it, she was probably the most had the most sense and was wisest among all of them. Because wasn't she always trying to get them out of jams and don't do that thing? No, Gumby, that's a light socket. Don't stick a fork in it.
Goo was the mother hen of the troop.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. With the mother hen. Okay, moving on. We've
I will take being an amorphous blob to be intelligent.
Cool.
Very
Ultraman
nice.
Gore, which means Ultraman Great, which was the.
Great.
I just found out tonight. Clayton asked me. This was invented for the Australian market, so.
Nice.
It was the first series to be broadcast in Australia.
Which
of
actually,
Ultraman.
interesting note, in Australia you have one of the largest foreign Asian populations of Chinese and Japanese outside of their respective countries.
as well as Indonesians and Filipinos and lots and lots. The last thing I'll show, and I'll toss it back to you, Bonnie.
Oh, okay.
That sound good, or do you need more time?
Sure. No, I'm good.
And now back to Bonnie Bogovich.
Thanks. Yeah, this is the thank you that I received from Mojang the story. Mojang the Story of Minecraft, which is a documentary made about Minecraft when it was still in beta. Made by a couple of friends of mine that go by Two Player Productions. This is a cutout. You can cut this out and fold it together a creeper.
That's fucking slick.
But better than that is dun, 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 dun,
the dreaded creeper itself.
Oh, there it is.
Creeper.
Nice.
And I'm not going to open this for you guys. I'm sorry.
That's
I just
okay.
can't.
In
you can
true
see it
collectible
inside
fashion.
there, and you can see that it winds up and walks, which is kind of cool. It creeps,
Oh,
I should
neat.
say.
That's pretty badass.
It's a creeping creeper.
It's a creeping creeper.
That is absolutely one of the worst sounds and will drive you into the largest degree of anxiety and panic at any given time. Because you're just... Oh God, no!
Yeah. The way you can associate this simplest, dopey little sound with danger and peril and... Because if you just hear it enough times before something comes, and you can't, you're in a virtual world, so it's not that easy to turn around and look around and find, where the thing is.
Cinemandy, we're hearing a lot of loud robot science interruption noises from your microphone.
Robot science.
Oh my God, really?
Robots.
Yeah.
Just turn yourself down a little bit, I think. Or Clayton, maybe you can.
And put some headphones on if you can. I was hearing echoes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Too.
Okay, let me.
There you are. Yeah, there was some kind of clattering of something, but it sounds okay now.
It was a plate.
People dare eat during this.
Gasp!
So you didn't. I don't think you. All you missed so far, Amanda, is my Pokemon. I've got a bunch of Pokemon, and there's gonna be. This is. I started off with the easy, obvious stuff. So, but anyway, I was gonna hand it back to Bonnie, if she's ready to.
I may
move
have
on. How much
some
you have?
collectibles.
I saw that amazing Ultraman. How popular was Ultraman?
Oh, huge. You do. I'm gonna go look for a thing.
Oh,
Okay.
he has a thing.
And the other thing is you missed Bonnie's puppets,
No,
unfortunately.
I didn't miss. I didn't actually miss.
Oh,
I was
okay.
I was watching it on Twitch, and then I'm like, okay, well, I'll just pop on.
Okay, good. Well, thanks for joining us. So yeah, so she's got some amazing the Necronomicon puppet, and so what do you got now?
I've got a couple books I'm gonna show you.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna jump in through from paper into action figures for my unhealthy addiction to the Dark Crystal by Jim Henson, which came out in 1982. Of which I frequently visited the mystic Ursel, the chanter puppet that was at the Pittsburgh Children's Museum when I was a kid. So I still have from last time I was in a game studio, because people were using these for art references. Do not touch Bonnie's copy. I have all these posters. But I have the original novelization by A.C.H. Smith, which has now been reprinted. They did a reprint whenever the prequel recently came out. I highly recommend the book by A.C.H. Smith. It is much better than the movie as far as lore and covers the Skeksis even better. Jen's not as much of an idiot.
I don't know.
It's just really
I don't know
good.
any of this.
You don't know the Dark Crystal?
No,
Oh my god!
no.
Oh, you
So
are
it was
missing out.
it was
The closest
before-
I get is Labyrinth.
So it was before Labyrinth.
Okay.
There were no actual humans, so it was all mystical creatures done in the Brian Froud art style. The Frouds also designed Yoda, so they did creatures like fairies and also things like that. So from their imagination and Jim Henson, they brought a lot of freaky things to life through the Dark Crystal. And as soon as they started reprinting things, I even used to be part of a fan fiction forum for like a decade where people were writing, what if there was a prequel? What if there were sequels? And then there were graphic novels that came out. I have the Legends of the Dark Crystal collection. I really enjoyed the graphic novel Dark Crystal Creation Myths. They only came out hardcover, but
That looks interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot more stuff on Agra and the Skeksis, and it's all like right whenever they split into two races.
Yeah.
I have no idea about any of that. Yeah.
It's really cool.
That's
and some of the art is like, look at this friggin'
It's
cover.
the creepiest thing that he ever did.
And this cover's
I
amazing.
don't know.
'cause it's got
Crawl is
Agra's
pretty
beautiful
fucked up.
face on it. Crawl is one of my first DVDs. Oh, and then I have this is just mixed in there. The first Muppet book I ever had as a kid.
Nice.
The Case of the Missing Hat, with an old school Fozzie Bear.
Little Fozzie.
And the art is like
What's
watercolor
a new
painted,
school
and
Fozzie
I
Bear?
just
Oh, nice.
he's crappy now. He's crappy now. Oh, and I even have the children's book adaptation from 1982 of The Dark Crystal, which is trying to make it PG for kids. Basically, they took the essence sucking out, but otherwise they still kept images that for children, like them being kidnapped and tortured, and I loved it. And there's some amazing artwork in here. Like, look at this Gartham. Hey, baby.
It actually cracks me up. Speaking of the Garthams, it cracks me up that they almost just ripped it right out and then dropped it into Krull. Like,
I know, right?
Yeah.
As soon as I saw those, I'm like, oh, and I have the original
Convergent
print of
evolutions.
the World of the Dark Crystal,
Holy
which
shit.
is because 82. The spine, every time I open it, parts of glue fly out from the binding. But it's beautiful. If you've never seen this book, it's fantastic. It's all told in Agra's perspective, and it's got maps and just crazy. They got layered drawings showing how all of the art had like symmetry. There's like a whole diagram of all the creatures in the forest, and they have a really in-depth thing for all the wonderful. Oh, if I ever get another copy, I'm framing this. Look at this guy.
Hell yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm in love.
I just love any of that
how big
like
that is. It's hefty.
concept art. I would have a room dedicated to concept art, and I would have a whole budget dedicated to
And
concept
you
art.
should, because
Because
even like, here's like an old sketch of Agra. That was a concept piece.
Yeah.
Isn't
Oh,
that
my
great? Speaking
word.
of Agra, let's go into action figures, shall we?
fuck yeah.
Yes.
So,
Nice
I
segue.
just dragged these from the shelf in the other room.
Did
My
you
husband
put
was
them under the
fantastic
sink
and
like
nabbed
I
me.
had to?
Here's an Agra from. They finally made an Agra when they did Resistance. The prequel.
wow.
So I still haven't
Very
taken her
nice.
out of her box, but she's all ready to rock. A couple years ago, they actually made a Chamberlain action figure.
Whoa.
Fully posable. Check this guy out.
But the question is, does
Wow.
it have the kung fu grip?
I mean, he has little dinky hand grip, but what I do love is if you're wacky like me and other people who have done this, his cape does come off, and if you know how the bodies work of the Mystics and the Skeksis, they actually have 6 limbs total, not 4. So if you pull apart his little, see if I can show it on the camera. If you,
Bonnie, keep it PG-13.
I am, but
Right.
look at that little dinky thing. That's a little arm.
That's awesome.
That's his little arm that's gotten withery and sad because they don't use it anymore. Isn't
That's
that great?
incredible.
Right. All right.
But I
God,
love
I
it's
love the
so
attention to
detailed,
detail.
and they never made more. I'm like, why didn't you make more of these? And then here, going further, I have a couple Muppets as well. I always thought that Uncle Deadly from the Vincent Price Muppet Show episode
Uh-huh.
is probably a relative.
Yeah.
Right? Because look
Yeah.
at this.
Like maybe
Look-
even a rejiggered Muppet
Right.
from the Dark Crystal.
I mean, look at this. He's got the tail, right? He's got that whole thing going on. It's kind of grumpy, and then you hold up.
Somebody
Evolution.
found an art book somewhere, an archive, and was like, you know what we need to do? We need to bring this into the next project.
I think Uncle Deadly and Vincent Price came first, but yeah, like there's a very big
really?
similarity here. Yeah, I'd have to check that, because 82 is Dark Crystal, and
Oh, Vincent Price was all over the map.
the Vincent Price episode was 1977,
Oh,
so Vincent
okay.
Price came first.
All right.
Hey.
Look at that.
Oh, so all right, so we did the Skeksis, and then we talked. Someone mentioned Labyrinth, and also let's go from Dark Crystal into Labyrinth. So I bought the board games. There were 2 board games that came out in the past year of both Dark Crystal and Labyrinth, and the main reason most of us meaning us fans are collecting them is only to get the minis
Yeah.
that come with the board game. So I'm not sure if this will focus well enough, but
There you go.
that's Kira.
Nice.
I got my little Jen.
So the question is,
And,
what was the board game based
Chamberlain.
on? Is this like Monopoly?
It was based on the original. It's just like a kid game. Like, oh, you got to get to the center and deposit the crystal, and it was very simple. It wasn't super elaborate, but the figures are beautiful, and I've seen some people do some custom paint jobs on these, and they come out really nice.
I was about to say,
So,
is
of
this gonna be
course,
like
when the
Settlers of
Labyrinth one-
Catan, but instead the Dark Crystal? Because holy shit, would I buy that?
Yeah, right.
Maybe.
Oh, wow,
I wish
that's a
they'd
great
make a
idea.
more detailed game. And they had a Labyrinth one, so I have my little David Bowie.
Complete
I've got
with dip pouch.
My
Let
actually,
me see David Bowie again. Can I see
Actually-
David Bowie?
there's his crotch. He does have sort of a.
He's got a
My
package.
webcam doesn't know what to do with this.
It was
And the Ludo. And I plan to paint all of these. And they had, there's Sarah in here. Oh, there's the Sir Didymus on his little puppy.
nice.
And then it came, there was a Goblin expansion. So I ended up getting like
holy cow.
all the Goblins, which came with bonus cards. And I still haven't opened this because I want to paint the other ones first. They had a Fieries expansion.
Oh wow.
They're the guys that take their heads off, remember?
Yeah. Those were
It's
awesome.
hard,
awesome.
hard to
awesome
show with.
puppets.
Yeah, the reflection's horrible, but yeah, these are great. One of these
Oh,
is
yeah, you
holding
can
his own
see them
head,
now.
and
Oh,
there's a
beautiful,
fancy
yeah.
Jareth
There
with
were,
the
like, what,
with the owl
6
cloak.
different puppeteers all working on each
Yeah,
puppet.
And they filmed it in front of black velvet instead of blue screen because they wanted to use the darkest matter possible, and they weren't getting the effects they wanted with blue screen.
No, you get all the
It's
weird.
weird. And did you
it's
know that Dr.
pain in the
Beverly
ass.
Crusher did choreography for all that?
No.
No,
For real?
Gates
That's
McFadden.
awesome.
Gates McFadden was
Holy
the
crap.
choreographer for Labyrinth.
How bad?
Wow,
up.
that's wild. I had
She's
no
also
idea.
in the behind the scenes. You'll see her working with them during the really awkward rock fight sequence that happens near the end of the movie. Yeah. Oh, and to end my Muppets, I've got a couple Muppets in here that I love. This, I actually have the balcony.
Oh, nice.
That
Beautiful.
these two. I have to put them back in because I was playing with them the other day. I got Statler and Waldorf, and I usually sit them in this and put them on top of the entertainment center so that they could judge while you're watching a movie.
Love it.
Oh, fantastic.
But they're great. Look at these guys.
Yeah,
but that was like, those are recent, but I still have them from my childhood. I have here the Kermit, which is creepy because I played with him so much as a little baby kid, you know, that his eye holes.
Oh no!
So now he's now he's like a soulless frog. Does that sound familiar? Like a creepy frog in this channel, right?
Kermit has seen too much.
He's like, I've seen things.
When you gaze into
you wouldn't
the abyss.
believe.
And
I've also got these are all from the 80s. This is Scooter. I've got a really beat up animal. And I've got a Gonzo with a really his nose just looks kind of weird. And for comparison, here's a new
weird,
Gonzo.
Bonnie?
This is the
Let's be
Gonzo that came
honest.
out recently. Well,
they're all pretty.
But if you look at the old one versus the new
The
print.
angle's different.
Look, we're not all made the same, okay? Some people curve left.
Right.
There's a little bit of a
chicken.
You know. Oh, the
Uh-oh.
chickens.
Camilla.
Chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there you go. That's my Henson chunk.
That's
from
pretty
the box.
excellent. How long did it
That's
take
the
you to
Henson
collect all that?
I don't know, my life. There's a lot more in the other room, and I have
I don't know, my life.
I've got
she
like a
says.
Kermit doll in the bin with all the puppets. I've also got a posable Kermit doll.
I remember.
Oh, and I've got there's a Rolf too.
Rolf. I remember as a wee lad, my grandparents had Kermit, and every time that we would go, I'm fairly certain it was one of my either my mom's or my aunt or uncle. When they were a kid, anytime we'd go and we'd stay the night at our grandparents, we would get the Kermit the Frog from the original whatever back in the day, and I'm sure it was just full of horrible dust mites and human skin, but we loved it.
Oh sure, yeah. I've had to slowly I have a Miss Piggy somewhere in a vat, and I'm scared to take it out because God knows how many old childhood diseases and dirt and
Right.
there's probably a colony of a sentient organism living on it by now.
Right?
Oh,
It's like that episode from
Uncle Deadly,
Futurama
by the
where
way,
they've
comes
all-
with a.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
When you get the Uncle Deadly, when you find him, he's hard to get sometimes. They even have a glow in the dark version. He comes with a ghost.
I dig it.
Because it's from the same Vincent Price episode.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Because they sing the "I'm looking through you" song.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking through you, and you're not there. Anyway. Oh, and it also came with this awesome skull. Look at this cute little skull. That was a puppet also in the episode. Isn't that cute?
Lovely.
Yeah.
Oh,
Does his mouth open? No.
Oh,
He
sadly
almost looked like
no.
his jaw was
Alas.
hinged
I wish he
there
did.
for a second.
Non-articulate.
Yet another thing in my collection that should have a functional mouth but doesn't.
Right.
But I'll just move my pile back into the box from whence everything.
Part of me really
That's
desperately wants to develop a collection of like the animatronics from all the claymation stuff out there, because there's so many different cool claymation things.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine
yeah.
they're cheap. They've got to be stupid expensive.
It's expensive, and right before Ray Harryhausen died, I think my husband bought me a kit, an armature kit. You could buy official Ray Harryhausen animation kits,
really?
and I have a basic one to make like a simple armature body.
God.
and I never had the time to open it up. But now that
Oh
he
my
passed
God.
away, I'm like, oh, I gotta make it someday and
Yeah.
put some
Yeah.
some stuff on it and make a little
Mhm.
creature.
Mhm.
But I love
I'm a
I
huge
love all that
Harry
stuff.
Halson fan. Yeah, Harry Halson was amazing. Tamara and I went to Film Forum a couple years ago to see Jason and the Argonauts, like a nice clean
Oh,
print of it.
Nice.
It was so good,
cool.
so good.
That's the one with the rock,
Um,
right? The big bird with the two heads. Is that the
yep,
one? Yeah.
yeah, and the Cyclops, and yeah, the giant. What's the big statue
The
that
Sphinx?
terrifying scene? When I was a kid, no, that's Clash of the Titans,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
No,
This
Sphinx.
is the one that
Sphinx?
stands over the river, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that one. It's
Ah.
I'm trying to remember what god it is. It's one of the god like Mars or somebody, the god of war or whatever it was. But um, it's brass, right? It's this gigantic brass statue,
Yeah.
and they go inside and they steal stuff out of the base, like treasure, and they go outside and you just hear this, and you
Right.
just see his head
Yeah.
turn
Ah.
and look down at them, and like they're like, "Did you hear something?" Like
I
looking
think
around, what was that?
Isn't it supposed to be like after Achilles? Because then they pry off the back and the
Yeah,
heel
they
pops
do
off.
get the Achilles. That's true. They do. I don't remember if that's who it is, but it's a soldier with a big sword. I remember
Yeah.
that in the helmet.
But
But
j-
yeah, that's how
ah.
they knock it down. Is they open the thing on its heel, and inexplicably some strange fluid flows out of it and it dies.
Ectoplasm. This is the Stay
Aw,
Puft
I always
Marshmallow
wanted
Man.
to get. I wish I had a figure for it. My favorite was always was the Minotaur from the mechanical Minotaur from Sinbad and
Yeah,
the Eye of the Tiger. Because you get what
yeah.
you get a saber-toothed tiger, you get like a monster with a horn on his head, and you
Mhm.
get a
Yeah.
Minotaur made out of metal. And oh, what more do you want in life? You're good.
That was a
Yeah,
really
exactly.
cool era of cinematography. Very
Mm-hmm.
recently, I watched the crew over at Corridor Digital. They remastered those scenes at I want to say it was they did 60 frames per second rather than the 24 that it was. It was less than
Mhm.
24, but they went through and they sort of using AI
Frame by
redid those
frame.
at 60
Yeah.
frames, and it is
Beautiful.
alarming how seamlessly it meshes with the real footage. It's just great. It's just fantastic.
Wow.
I highly recommend it for anyone who gets into it. So, all right. My bizarre
right.
collections.
Ooh.
I've got stuff upstairs. I collect puzzles. So I have the kind of like little fidgety things or things that make your brain work. There's a company called Hanayama that makes these amazing all cast metal puzzles. This doesn't happen to be one. This is called a ball of wax. WACKS, like whack.
Oh.
In fact, my
Okay.
favorite thing to do with this when meeting a new person, and I used to have this on my desk at work, is I'd just toss it to somebody because it looks very solid, and they'd catch it with hard hands, and it would immediately explode into all of its constituent pieces, and they'd be like, "Oh God, what did I do?" And you're like, "Nah, it's cool." But each of these things has so this is the individual components.
Oh,
And
wow.
internally, they're all neodymium magnets that are polarized, so they'll fit in particular places and right. So you can then build different things with them, and
yeah.
so I can make various. As I throw it at my keyboard, jeez, what a tool! So I can make all kind of manner of things.
other people do.
That's exactly right. I can make all manner of things with this, and so this sits on our desk down in the office, and is it's interesting because the ball of wax, the guy who developed it, whose name I can't remember, it's helpfully stamped on every single piece. It is Roger von Oesch, Oech. He is not an American man, but he's got like this whole methodology behind his logic of the whole thing, and like you, based on his point, like you take these little things and you turn them into kind of a mnemonic device for helping you deal with problems. They're kind of a neat idea that okay, now you assign.
That's fun.
So you get to assign sort of a token value to a given problem you have, and then reassemble them in a new way, and it legitimately engages a different part of your brain to start looking at problem solving. The other thing I got really into many, many years ago, and my kids think I'm an idiot for it, is cards. I love cards. There's all manner of fun, like the cuts and the little bits of magic or cardistry. I don't know if this is going to catch on film or if I can actually catch it, but yeah. So you can get your silly little flips and whatnot, card throwing and all that. So I've got your standard. What are these? These are aviators. They're real damn normal, and then you have your more esoteric things. Like I've got, for those of you who are vinyl inclined, I have Third Man Records and the cards there. So they're
very good.
neat. With the other side here is all. Right, so you get to at least have some kind of fun artistry. And then, of course, you get show two more of these guys. I got a bunch on my desk here, but you'll show two more. So you have the really fun ones, which are these guys. And you get into where...
You're cut off a little so that we can't see. We're seeing part of your face, but not...
I apologize. So there's...
I'm not seeing part of his face.
There you go. So you get... in these larger ones, or the ones that are more intended for cardistry, you get these bizarre... I don't know if that actually comes across on the camera, but there's the back that's green, and then there's this one that is the other thing. Or you'll have like double-sideds or blank on one side. So you have a blank card, right? So if you're going to do kind of a magic where someone, write your name, blah, 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 right? Whatever. And then you have the back of it, so you can slip that into a deck.
Yeah.
I wish like hell I had the skill to do that. I do not. There was a time. I actually can do a couple magic tricks. Only one of which works with cards. None of which work on camera here. That's actually true. I could probably do one, but I haven't worked on the camera angle. They're all magic. I'm sorry to burst anyone's bubble here. Is all angle driven. So it's whatever you're not seeing. There's something happening. And then this is my other. There's actually one upstairs that is my favorite, but these are really pretty too.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So you have. Let me get the queen out here. There we go. There's the queen. And
cool.
Whoa. Very fancy.
Super trippy. But then the one that I have that is probably my favorite. This is the Oculus by the Expert Playing Card Company. The one that is... Oh, it's actually... I'm sorry, Mike Wilson. The one that I'm most fond of is called Vision, and each of them has like a quasi fortune tellery kind of like also mixed with motivational speaker. It's like, hey, chill out, it's gonna be okay. Or why don't you take a break and have a beer? Or like just like silly shit like that. And you're like, oh, all right, I feel okay about that. So there are just fun things that I guess I collect from that standpoint. And the other ones are all, of course, bizarre and interesting brain puzzle or burr puzzles, or just things that make your head work. So that's me.
I used to collect some card sets too that were often from travel places or like souvenirs. But I really didn't know card games. I just liked the look of the box and the cards.
Right.
Don't have any in
here. I can pick up from there for a moment.
Please.
I want to show a few. I've got a few more figures real quickly, and then I've got a bunch of comics. I just want to show you the cool old comics that I've got, and maybe like 2 or 3 posters at the end. But we can bounce back and forth. So let me real quickly. My favorite all-time TV show ever, as I think I've mentioned to you guys before, because I'm an old man, is The Outer Limits, the 1960s version.
Ooh.
And this is the Ebonite from The Outer Limits.
God! That's awesome. Look at the detail
he's
on
pretty cool looking.
That's really interesting.
He's got a weird head. He's got a big melon head. And the cool thing about that episode is that you think that he's a evil demonic creature from another planet, but he actually turns out to be the good guy.
Is he in multiple episodes?
No, just one. It was an anthology series, so it's always just one story, one universe per episode, so to speak. And okay, who am I doing next? I'm trying to think if there's somebody before I get to Miyazaki, because I've got a bunch of Miyazaki. Oh yeah, of course there is. Probably my first big fandom experience ever was Astro Boy. I was a huge Astro Boy as a child, Astro Boy fan. So there's a kind of a I don't know if you can see that, but when you turn him, it's a Winky Dink. So when you turn him sideways, he becomes a robot. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see if I go this way. Maybe it'll be easier to see.
It's
No, only
really
on that one.
a cute character too.
I haven't heard
Yeah,
the
there you
term
go.
Winky Dink in so long.
Yeah. So there's his robotic self, and well, I mean, he's always a robot, but that's his insides. And then I've got this really cool. A friend of mine sent this to me from Japan. It's a metal box collectible with a plastic Astro Boy figure in it.
There's something cute about the thick, straight legs. That's that they design in the anime. I mean, they're it's kind of like in some of the Pokemon characters also have that leg thing.
Yeah, well, Osamu Tezuka, they call him the father of manga, the father of anime, because, because of that, the invention of these stylistic inventions that he had. So this one actually comes off the base, and look.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's Astro Boy. I have actually, I'm not going to go dig it out, but I've got an amazing Astro Boy T-shirt that's also a giant Winky Dink. That also, when you turn it sideways, you see his robotic self inside. Okay, so moving on to Hayao Miyazaki, who I guess I discovered him a little bit late. He was, doing, I think Nausicaa was in the early 80s.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about him back then. It wasn't until I had children, basically. My daughter was young, and a friend of ours suggested he bought her. Yeah, I got 2 kids. My daughter's
I didn't
30.
know that, dude. What?
My daughter is older than you are. So,
no fucking way.
Yes.
Wait, how old are you, Chris?
I'm very old. I'm one of the ancient ones. Let's just leave it at
I'm
that.
lesser old, but older than his daughter.
I figured you were old enough to have tenure, but I didn't,
I wish I had tenure.
Do you have tenure?
I do not have tenure. I'm not even a full-time professor. I'm an adjunct.
Oh, shit.
Story of American education. That's a whole nother topic we could get.
Oh, all right. Yeah, let's go on with collectibles.
So, yeah, okay. So the first Miyazaki film I ever saw, of course, was Totoro. That's the entry point for a lot of people, I think.
It was for me.
Yeah, and I bought it. I mean, my friend of mine bought it for my daughter, the DVD, and we the whole family just got completely absorbed by it. So here's a Totoro collectible laying. I don't know if you can see that, laying on his back in the forest with is it Sen? What's the character's name? No, Satsuki. No, it's May. Sorry, May is the little sister.
Right.
Yeah, May.
It's been so long since I've seen it.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got her face turned up so you can see her face there.
Was that the most adorable thing of Totoro I've ever seen in my life?
It's pretty adorable.
Yeah, it's great.
This one is really special. I thought this would be worth a whole lot of money, but apparently it's not that uncommon. At least, oh, hey, kitty.
Yeah.
At least a friend of mine sent me this from
Mine's
Japan.
passed out in the corner.
If any of you seen, I know Amanda's seen Grave of the Fireflies.
Yeah.
Well,
Chris, no.
It's that film.
Sad.
It's really good.
It's a very sad film.
Oh.
It's about the firebombing of Japan and Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So it follows around these 2 little children, which no spoilers, but the little girl in the movie is carrying this little tin of candies, right? I don't know if you remember this. So they made the tin of candies.
Oh, come on.
Oh my God.
For fuck's sake.
And it's actually It's actually sealed inside, so it's not going to shake. But it's got the little candies inside.
Oh my
I haven't opened it, but when I first got it, you could hear them when you shook it.
I was
And
gonna
it's
say,
actually that's
they've
the
now
picture of
all
the
turned
character.
into one solid
They've all-
piece.
They fused.
Yeah, it's basically become one big candy.
Oh
Yeah.
my
But
god!
yeah, it's
Yeah,
real,
I had
real
like
metal. It's
sugar
painted on the
babies
metal.
from
Uh,
a
Yeah.
Broadway show. For like,
I'll bet, Chris, you could put some hot water in there and make yourself some pretty awesome sugar whatever
Candy juice.
just
candy
before you
juice.
die of malnutrition. So
That's right.
yeah.
Animated and
Keep
juice.
moving because I'm guessing you guys still have
Fuck.
more stuff to show, and I don't want to take all your time. But it's gonna be kind of hard to see. This is Spirited Away.
Oh my god!
yeah.
So you Baba, and I think it's Chihiro over here, and I think that's Haku.
Haku. Yep.
Haku and Chihiro.
Wow.
Yeah, this maybe is. It's a toss up between this one and Princess Mononoke for my favorite all time
Mhm.
music
Mhm.
film. This one has got the most imagination of any film I've ever seen. I mean, how many films have you seen with a radish spirit that just makes an appearance in an elevator?
Mhm.
It's
Oh,
mind blowing.
his
Yeah.
nipples. The
Yeah, his
radish
nipples.
nipples.
The bath sequence for the river spirit.
Oh my god!
Is amazing.
And he's like, at the end, he's like,
Yeah.
He does the Coke satisfied thing.
Yes.
pièce de la résistance,
Yeah.
Mhm.
big ass box.
Is that
hang on, let me make
Labita?
sure it didn't fall. Yes, it is. Castle in the Sky. You're gonna blow your
Oh
mind.
god, I haven't seen that
Okay,
film
ready?
in so long.
Holy shit!
Wow! Oh my
That's
god!
awesome.
That
I don't know if
Oh,
you can see the
wow.
detail, but it's really
That is
beautiful.
so Miyazaki. Yeah.
That
It's
is
solid plastic,
amazing.
posable. His arms move, and I mean,
man.
insofar as the character
want
actually
one.
moves,
I want one so bad.
he basically just comes out and falls down and dies eventually.
Wow, yeah.
Oh
I
my
almost,
gosh,
when,
I almost
wh-
spent a
When
stupid.
and where did you get that from?
I don't remember where I got that.
Huh.
Probably at like a convention or something. It must have been. Oh no, you know what it was? Remember when I had my place in Koreatown, Amanda?
Yeah.
A studio in Koreatown. I think it was on that block. There were a couple of little stores that sold stuff like
Right.
this. It was actually a Korean goods store, but they had a bunch of Japanese collectibles.
Oh, definitely. That street was quite a wonderland. Maybe still is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, not to mention the food, which is amazing.
Oh.
So I think
Awesome.
I think that's the extent of my. Oh no, there's one more Miyazaki. Hang on. Hang on.
Once upon a time, almost spent more money than I care to admit on an iron cast
All right,
like pot of one of the
this
robot
was
heads.
bought for my brother, and I don't remember
really?
why I didn't give it to him. I suppose I'm going to give it to him at some point, but it's a model of Nausicaa with her flyer.
Oh wow.
So you can see what the flyer looks like on the side, but it's totally
wow.
unconstructed. So that's what the final model would look like. But it's never been constructed, so it's all
Yeah.
in pieces.
I wonder if they have
Yeah.
anything from the red. What was the Miyazaki film with the red pig, the pig and the flying?
Porco Rosso,
Porco Rosso.
All right, Porco
yeah.
Rosso.
which
Yeah.
is
So I don't know what that means in Japanese, but
well, I
Oh,
can't
there's your
I can't
instructions.
read it. Otherwise, I would.
MOWE with a umlaut over the O. MOWE.
Moe.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Oh,
I
so
don't know.
here, if you painted
Romaji
it,
is weird.
Like
Oh, look at that. Oh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
anyway, that is Yeah, I
do you
got-
get
I
a
got it.
Tito with it? The little
Tito.
Oh,
Tito.
Tito!
the fox.
Which
I
looks a
don't
lot
know
like
if there's
that
a Tito.
Pokemon you held up earlier. I
It
think they're
does.
pretty
I
darn-
swear
they
to
must be
God,
related.
they should have sued for copyright
Yeah.
infringement.
Yeah, because they
Right.
have the same tuft
Totally.
around the neck and everything.
That was an Eevee if
Yeah.
ever I saw one, or vice versa. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Pretty sure
Eevee was
Tito
a-
came first.
they absolutely did. 100% did.
Yeah, there is one. He's in there. Here.
Oh,
You can see him in the picture.
fantastic.
yay! So
Yeah.
you have to paint
No, I don't
that,
see
or
him
is
in the
he
card.
already colored?
No, nothing's colored. It's all.
Wow,
all.
it's complete do-it-yourself.
Yeah, let's see. If is that no? That's her head. It's not that. Oh, there he
It's
is.
disturbing. That's awesome. awesome.
Oh, there he is. Hello. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're gonna. I would not give that to anyone who does not have a lot of patience or tools to delicately cut small things. That's a model maker hobby project.
I might paint it and give it to one of my kids instead of my brother. He doesn't know I have it for him, but if he watches the stream, he'll be really angry that I haven't given it to
him. Did you say?
It's like, wait a minute.
You said your brother, is he a fan of something?
Yeah, he's a big fan of Miyazaki as well.
Oh,
so
okay.
He would love that. That particular movie he loves. But my daughter, I mean, I bought Zoe so many Miyazaki figures and things over the years. Like she's got them coming out of her ears, and she's one of these people who doesn't keep anything.
Oh.
You know, she moves from place to place and either gives it to thrift stores, sells it, gives it to friends, or puts it in storage. So I have no idea what happened to all the stuff I got for her, but it's all good. Okay, passing it back. Passing the torch. Anybody?
Actually,
I've got some more stuff, but you guys can. Okay. I've talked at least twice already, so I don't mind passing the baton.
I ran upstairs during a brief intermission and grabbed both the rest of the Hanayamas as well as they're actually called Soul Sight Sparks is the cards I was talking about. So if I can get that focus.
Oh, that's great.
There we go. So very pretty.
Oh, yeah, nice.
But then also on this side, there you go. I don't know if you can read that.
Yeah.
So like, oh, cool! I can both play my card game and also get a little impetus into doing a thing I've been procrastinating. But like all of the art
I know
style,
why you picked up those cards.
I know, right?
Yeah.
All the art style is just neat. You're like, oh, that's really,
wow.
that's really interesting.
I love that.
And there's a whole subculture of people who do very, very specific kinds of art for cards, and they're just wonderful. Like, there's some level of whimsy in it the whole time.
Also, they have to have the symmetry thing down if they want to do it with the suits. It has to look good no matter how you rotate it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And the ones that do it really well are the ones that have, like, you can hear my holy shit box of puzzles. The ones that do it really well are the ones that will hide different things in the suits or in the trumps.
Oh yeah, very cool.
Oh, fuckers.
That's my favorite
like
thing ever.
Clues or something.
Yeah, hidden pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like find the hidden pictures kind of thing.
Yep. So we've got Chris Ramsey's Hanayama for anyone who loves YouTubers and magicians. Chris Ramsey, right there. So it's a little like your objective is to remove this ring from the whole track and then put it back on.
Oh, neat.
But then this is absolutely my favorite. So there's, hold on. I can't get it out because we intelligently, quote unquote, put it into one of these plastic things that's big enough to put the thing in.
This is the puzzle
this
right
is
now.
The puzzle. It's Inception
this is the
1.
Puzzle.
We're not going deep in 3 levels deep here.
Yeah. Right.
So, ow, damn it.
Mark's having a good time over there. Something's really funny on his cell phone.
Yeah,
no, because
we've been watching your face, and you were doing like tricks with your umbrella for a while. I don't know what's
my friend Vinny is we were texting and I told him I'm doing this. I'm doing the podcast. And I just said with the the people from the Mandible Judy podcast. And then and he's the same guy. I told Chris about him when I was doing like one of the episodes, and he would always make fun of me for one of the lines that I said. I think it was like, "What on earth is that sound?" And I guess it sounded so corny. And I was telling him, and he was like, "Bro, you should put me on the podcast. Here's my audition tape." And he sent me a voice message of him making fun of me by going, "What on earth is that sound?"
Classy. we love
That's all the dialogue we have at Mandible Judy.
That's it. That's the entire series summed up.
That's it. Mandible Judy. What on earth is that sound?
So you get all the wire puzzles you put back together again, and these are the maddening every child has had and hated those throughout their lives.
Yeah.
In all the various shapes you can. But these are back with the Hanayamas and all of my pride and joy. They are both aesthetically pleasing in their solving, and then also an absolute mindfuck. This one is not where it should be, but it's 4 interlinked bits of metal that we're gonna have to take apart. And this one is really nasty because you have to take it apart and then put it back together in one format, and then put it back together again in its original format, which is a pain in the ass. It kind of resembles.
Is it a magnet too?
No, they're not magnets. No. And then this is these resemble 2 links, 2 like chain links when you're in there. There's this one, which resembles, as I try and throw it, resembles a compass rose. And you have to remove one piece from the other piece, and there's a whole puzzle involved in that.
Wait, you're gonna let Hellraiser loose.
I was gonna say.
I know, right?
Yeah. Watch out, Pinhead's gonna come out.
Wait for it. I've got this one, who I think someone put it away incorrectly last time, so it doesn't work now. Yeah, this was 100% put away
Today's episode brought to you by Cenobites.
I will show you such things. So this one you take apart, and if you put it back together properly, the whole thing like cascades. Yeah, so it kind of looks like that. But it was not put together properly. So what are you gonna do? This one though is absolutely.
But it still looks cool.
It does. This one is my absolute favorite. So it's composed of 2 pieces of metal on the outside. Speaking of the Cenobites, 2 pieces of metal on the inside that compose a marble, right? So I have this guy, and once you align this properly, there we go.
If you had a giant one, it'd be like a Henry Moore sculpture.
Oh my word, yes.
Yeah, totally.
So once
if anybody's
you
aware of Henry Moore, I don't know.
Align this properly, the whole thing just pops right out. So then you're left with that. Right? So I can then take these out into their constituent parts, and they result in these guys and these guys. But then you gotta kind of have to try and figure out how to put all that back together again.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Wacky.
Horribly mind-bending if you're into that kind of thing, and is at the same time super satisfying once you figure out like your tag. Well, so actually I'll show you. So we have, right, there's our disassembled thing, and now we're back together. Back in its very satisfying.
How did you do that?
How did indeed?
Nice.
Magician.
He's a wizard, Harry. Yeah, so
Very
those are all
cool.
my other collections, and these are like, I think I don't know, I want to say they're between $10 and $30 per, depending on how extreme you get with them, but they're just so damn satisfying to play with. Unless they're not satisfying, great. And then they're maddening.
What a cool thing to collect. That's just a really odd, different kind of thing to collect.
I have a bunch of dice.
Ooh, I gave all mine away recently. Those are an unhealthy habit. Yeah.
Oh my god, I got like, so there's obviously more than the ones that I'm holding, but I've lost a lot of them. But so, if you want dice, I got like six whole sets of like a bunch of different colors. And it was like $12 for like 6 sets. This is like
nice.
But it's not like, they're not like made out of glass or anything like expensive, like, it was
all
it's all about the sound to me. Like when you throw them, if they sound good when they clack, that's
cool. They work, they roll me in my 20s and all that. So,
actually,
I've been to I've been to those places where you like Origins, and I used to go to WBC, the World Board Game Championships, and the vendors would have like a vat of dice, and you could buy dice by the mug, or by the jug, and they'd have a scoop, and it's like that many dice versus that many dice, and they'd pour them into a bag for you. And I find, well, sometimes that's the way I roll. It's just give me a pile of dice.
Yeah, I'm not super well versed in like the D&D like, I guess, community. All I know is that like, and I don't have a dice addiction. All I know is that like I started playing with my friends, and then like this was years ago, and like I was like, I need some dice, so I went on Amazon, bought a bunch. There's like, I mean, these bags are empty. You know, like I said, I lost a bunch of them, but you know, it was like 6 bags, 6 sets. There's a bunch of them.
You got to get your obligatory Crown Royale bag full of your dice.
Yeah.
I used to just borrow my friends.
Yeah. How else? What else are you gonna use to play with Slippin' Jimmy on the corner? You know, hey Jimmy, come on, let's get a game of dice going over here.
Snake eyes. Oh.
So, actually, on that same note, who here is a fan of not Game of Thrones, but The Witcher?
I haven't watched it. It looks good.
Okay, so
I like it.
You know the dice game they play in The Witcher?
I didn't notice. No.
Vaguely? No. Okay, well, so my dad, because of course the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, built and designed, let's see if I can get that actually to zoom, there we go, his own thing, right? So this is the actual dice game that comes from The Witcher. He carved all this stuff out of bits of wood and then put on a very specific decal there, a little bit of art in the middle. And I think at this point it is currently at a leather shop getting bound so that it then can get closed up and made into a full-blown,
Wow.
He's
oh my God.
He's a crafty dude. This is the same guy who designed a full D&D table with insets. Hold on, I'll show you that too. Complete with insets and walls that resemble a dungeon. So that thing in the middle there is a TV that is up facing and will portray whatever map he has on at a given time. And then each of the seats around there is like he built the whole damn thing. My dad is a super crafty dude.
A room. It's a whole room.
Whole full blown room.
Yeah.
This is with the lights off from his D&D screen there down below. Yeah, it's
pretty epic.
Yeah, people are pretty fanatical about D&D. Like it completely passed me by, you know, like I think it happened right when I first started college. That was when it was really big. And it just kind of came and went before I even was aware. Like I heard people say stuff.
I played a lot of second edition in undergrad and got pretty hooked. I was lucky enough that there was a DM with a group and they pulled me in and I was the cleric. The newbies always got to be the cleric, right? Because someone's got to heal everybody.
But could you calculate Thaco in your head?
No.
Me either. I had a table.
No. but it was fun and it was great. And then I didn't play it for years and years until later, and it's still fun. I'm in the middle of a game right now with a bunch of my friends from back in Pittsburgh. We play over Discord. And our DM, shows the map on her little view screen, and we all still get together. One of our players is in Ireland, and it's fun that you can still do it all not physically in the same place. Yeah.
There's an interesting sub-genre of podcasting that's basically devoted entirely to D&D.
I believe it.
Video podcasts and audio-only podcasts, and some of them are really extravagant, like. Whole universe is built around the rules of D&D, but with completely different, characters and places. And this may be completely normal. I mean, this, as far as this sounds all fascinating to me because I know nothing about any of this stuff.
No, it's neat because there's comedy troupes too. One of my favorite podcasts to listen to is Dragon Friends, which is a group of comedians in Australia who get drunk and then play D&D in front of an audience. And and they've been playing the same campaign for over 4 years, and it's hilarious. Everything goes wrong. They do everything wrong, and that poor DM. It's amazing he hasn't murdered everybody by this point. But I highly recommend it.
The overall function of a DM is literally to make things for your players to destroy. And
Yep.
so for the
That sounds right.
I always ran games, and for every time that you go out there, inevitably you will put 14 hours worth of work into the next session, and your players will, without fail, do something immediately upon starting the session that is completely outside any of your plans. It does not matter.
Yep.
I had God, it was some massive amount of work put into the end, like sort of the finale of a thing that I had built that involved a dragon and a bunch of other things. And we had a bard who went in and charmed said dragon and wound up somehow managing, just through the rules of random number generators, just dice rolls the whole way through, wound up completely avoiding any combat, wound up getting the dragon onto their side, who then went on the adventure with them. And it was like, well, how the fuck? I can't arbitrarily say, no, that dice roll didn't happen. Well, great. Thank you very much, you jerk, for breaking my encounter.
God damn it, Leroy, if anybody knows that reference.
Leroy Jenkins! At least I got chicken. Absolutely. How do you not know that and, like, live in geek culture? I don't know. But it is pretty freaking epic. It does happen, you're right.
I've got a couple comics here.
Ooh,
let's see your comic.
Yeah, so I already have the whole Sandman collection in the other room. A lot of people have those, like the graphic novels, you know, that they bound a while back.
Out of
But there was
curiosity,
a very limited.
Do you have them in the individuals, or do you have them as a complete bound book?
I have them as bound books for those ones because they're better for not to be destroyed. And many fingers have gone through them many times.
And I'm curious your take on that. Do you prefer them that way, or would you rather have them as like the individual sessions?
I think if it's a really ginormous series, like all of the Sandman volumes together, I would rather have them bound, because then you can skip over all the ads and get to the good stuff. But then there are some series that you can't get bound. Like Sandman had a lot of weird little spin-offs, like Sandman Presents, right? And
really,
I was able to get. I collected the Sandman Presents Bast, because if you remember Bast, the Egyptian cat goddess, right? She was a character that popped in a couple times, and I'm gonna take these out of the wrappers just for you guys.
All over Neil Gaiman stuff.
Yeah. So they gave her own little 3-episode spin-off.
That's
Bast,
awesome.
And the front art is that freaky Sandman photo art that we love so well. And
who is that guy's
she's fantastic.
name? She is fantastic.
Wow.
What is that guy's name?
Yeah, but
he does
so
amazing art.
Yeah, it's all the photo collage art. I think it says.
He does a bunch of stuff for Magic the Gathering. He does almost all of Neil Gaiman stuff. He's phenomenal.
You recognize the style. It's that weird, like, whoa, photos and models.
Yeah, right.
And the last one is pretty wonky. Look at this. What is going on? There's an eyeball and everything. But it's so good, and they never bound it. And there's just a couple things out there that you... the Dreaming as well. I had a friend who had the Dreaming collection. There was a whole side series of that. Never put into a bound collection. So things like that I will hunt down, because you can't get them any other way. And at least when it's only a 3-issue side bit.
Right.
It doesn't take up as much crazy space, and you don't have to get all the sleeves. And
theoretically,
I also have and I also have a couple of the I still am a big Felicia Hardy fan. The Black Cat from Spider-Man.
Nice.
She had her own little spin-off. That's her when she actually looked badass and wasn't as mostly naked as some of the other depictions have her, but I thought she looked really... Right. This was like her in her most, like, I'm gonna punch you out.
She looks
kind
really
of mode.
Black
And
Canary there.
I know. And I even have I cosplayed as her back in college. I cosplayed as Felicia Hardy as a Black Cat, and a friend got me a little play set display. I'll see if I can put Spider-Man back on his little window here for you, because he has to like. Spider-Man, he's climbing a wall now. All right, so I'm gonna put him on.
While you're putting that together, I have to ask the obligatory question: who is everyone's favorite Spider-Man?
You mean artist, or you mean actor?
You mean film?
The Spider-Man across the films.
So here's the one view.
Holy cow, that's
he's on.
cool.
Look at his little butt.
Yeah.
But he's looking in the window. It's hard to show this on the thing, but they even have a little safe full of goodies.
Spider-Man, the original Peeping Tom.
And this is the Kevin Smith one, so it's like, hello. It's a bit boobalicious. You can see why I prefer the one in the comic, but otherwise she's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I've thought about customizing it to be a little less hi. But I thought they did a really good job on this hair.
That hair is fantastic. Very Storm-like.
But isn't this set like really cool?
Yeah.
Like that's pretty neat. I love when displays are like that because she's supposed to be like, "Oh, you caught me, Spider-Man."
Oh no.
Oh no. And I also have. Oh, I love this one. I have this fabulous Catwoman from the animated series figure, which I love. She's very posable and comes with a little, the little character sketch breakdown from the series whenever they were designing her.
Oh, cool.
Which is great. It comes with a little whip, and yeah, it's like I don't know. She's one of my favorite Catwomen. I really liked how they treated her, at least in the first 3 seasons of the animated series. After that, it got kind of dumb. Remember, there was that period where there was the animated series. And then they also started doing Superman, and there was almost like a rule that, hey, everybody animating, you have to do all the characters in 5 strokes or less. No more. Right. Like everyone's got square shoulders and no shadows on themselves, and I don't know, pupils are optional. So this is before that happened. But I just love that they made a figure for her, and he fell in the box. But you may remember that in the series, she even had Isis.
Her familiar.
Her little kitty familiar.
Which looks a lot like Gigi from
Kiki.
Yeah, Kiki's delivery service. Thanks, Amanda.
Oh, us with my camera can't even. He's too tiny. But yeah, he's supposed to be able to sit on her shoulder, but it never works out. I randomly have a Johnny Depp action figure from Sleepy Hollow.
Nice. That whole cat on shoulders thing, I mean, and I have one shoulder rider myself. It doesn't ever work out. You always bleed.
No.
I don't care how impressive your shoulders are or how fantastic your sweaters are.
Perfectly still. Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And the only other action figures in that bin, I'll quickly show you, are I have a bunch of Disney action figure sets from whenever they used to make them, and I was really in love with like the villains. So I've got my little Jafar.
I had that exact toy as a kid.
And
my daughter
and the Imago. Yeah.
Good old.
They never really stuck on anything.
Godfrey.
They gave him a gripper, but he doesn't grip on anything. Yeah, right. I'm a pirate. I can't do Gilbert Godfrey.
All
and
I can hear with
I was
Gilbert Godfrey at this point is either Iago or the Aristocrats.
Oh, and I found this
crossover.
in a clearance area when I was a kid. They made a genie one.
Oh wow!
Of Jafar, and he has this cool base, which is like his little genie base. But I like it because you could be like, and then he goes, I'm mad. So they show him in the very last part of the movie when he gets the wish to get ultimate power.
Cosmic power. Well, and then he also comes back in the Genie 2.
In Return of Jafar. Yeah, so I think this action figure was no, he was red. The original genie, the genie is blue. Jafar when he turns into a genie is red.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right. Yeah. Okay.
So point of question for the audience here, and for the people in the stream for that matter. Would you term then Jafar as an Ifrit or a djinn?
I don't know the difference.
No. One is typically considered a fire elemental, the Ifrit. Also tends to be a little more on the mischievous evil side. And the djinn is more the air elemental, but also
DJINN, yes.
the djinn. Yep.
I would say the first one then, because he does do the fire thing a lot. It's part of his like I like red persona. You know, it's like Team Fire. If he was an avatar, he'd be on the fire people, right?
He would.
Oh, and the other ones I've got.
Nice.
Oh yeah, nice.
I gotta say, I'm honestly kind of surprised no one here has any Avatar: The Last Airbender stuff. Because if I could myself get an Appa and an Aang, and a Momo, I absolutely would. 100% would.
I never watched any of them until this past year when it was on Netflix.
Really?
I'd never seen them. Awesome. Yeah, I never really had the excuse. There's so many other things I'm behind on. Good. You know.
And I think if nothing else, you got to get into Korra at least for the season that has what's his face, who like learns how to be an air nomad in a prison, whose name I can't remember, but it's phenomenal. That's an awesome season.
This is Barbara Gordon if she was in high school and if she had a little bat backpack.
That's pretty badass. I'm not sure what she's fitting in said backpack, but
I don't know. But it's cute.
It is.
I was like, that's everything that's in the pile, by the way. So I'm out of stuff. At least what I prepared.
Welcome, Glenn. Glenn is here. And if nobody else has anything else, I still got a few things. I've got comics.
I'm dying
Show us some
for
comics.
The Soviet bloc political.
Oh yeah, show us those.
Absolutely dying for this shit.
I'm going to do that first. I've got two that are really easily accessible, so I'll show you the two of those first.
I will say, and please, for the love of God, don't judge me or make prejudgments because I am a bald white guy. I love fascist posters. I think
I know
they're
what
so
you mean.
cool.
I mean, I know the feeling. I mean, there's something about the really elemental art design. The graphic design.
That's feels
kind of
like, don't mind me as I carefully put things back into their sleeves during this conversation.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Good. Okay.
Don't
so let me grab
the paper.
No, don't crinkle the paper. I've got to pull them out. They're right here. Stand by.
And
first.
Oh, Bonnie, no.
I should scan these because
the early
you really
90s.
Should. Although I would be worried you damage the binding.
That's the thing, right?
No.
So in the early 90s, I went to Eastern Europe for the first time, and
no shit.
Traveled to. Yeah, I went to. This was literally right after the wall came down. So we went to Berlin, West and East Berlin. Then we went to Prague. And we went to Vienna, and not all this is Eastern Europe.
Did you defenestrate anyone?
Absolutely, as much as possible.
Good.
And then we went to Budapest in Hungary, and I was fascinated by Hungarian political history because it was really an anomaly amongst the Soviet satellites. It had the most amount of freedom of all of them, probably, because there had been a rebellion in the late 50s. It failed, but it did accomplish a few things in that it basically made the Soviets kind of sit up and realize, well, we can't really completely control these people, right? So in the 90s, when the wall came down,
it's so cozy too.
Yeah,
it's like a pillow.
They a bunch of new political parties popped up in all over Eastern Europe, right? Trying to take advantage of Glasnost and all the new openings, right? In Czechoslovakia, well, former Czechoslovakia, then Czechoslovakia, a lot of those parties were really good. Like they were positive. They were kind of progressive, democratic. Like Václav Havel, famously started the I think it's called the Obshansky Forum, and he ended up the new president of the Czech Republic after everything came apart. But in Hungary, there were some really weird nationalistic parties. Some of them pretty much fascistic, and some of them just kind of, like conservative Democrat, like our Republicans, I think you could say. But that party, and I think it was called the Magyar Demokrata Forum. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but Magyar means Hungary, Democratic Forum, right? They produced the most
Magyar means
striking
hungry. The two aren't even remotely what an English speaker would throw together.
Hungary is like it's some European dude's name for the country. It's not theirs, right? So, this poster was all over Budapest when we visited in, I think it was 91, and no, actually it had to be 1990. Actually, I can't remember when the wall came down. 89, 90, 91, something. It was right after the wall.
I may be wrong, but I think it was
show us the poster.
That sounds right. So here's the poster, and I'll show it to you first. It's kind of striking. This just got my eye right away, and I had to figure out what it said. So can you see that?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Raise it up a little bit.
Yeah. So there's the bottom where it says the name of the of the party, and it's just basically the back of a soldier's head, and with his hat on, and it says at the top, "So long, comrade."
That's pretty bizarre.
That's awesome.
Wow.
It's super simple. It's super effective. It's like,
I'm super disturbed by the
way out,
fact
asshole.
That's basically the back of my neck in another like 10 years.
Right. It's really effective. It just because you never see the back of someone's head in a poster or a picture.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's just surreal, right?
God, I love that art style.
Yeah, I really like it a lot. It's cartoony, but it's really big, so it's kind of awesome. Okay, hang on, I got another one here.
Oh, I've got one. While you look for yours, I've got a poster Chris will appreciate.
Bring it on.
This is a poster, and this is actually from in my studio.
I'm a fairly unapologetic. What do you got?
I put this I put near my vocal booth. It's a bunch of Hitchcock and other horror movie women screaming.
Oh my God, that's excellent.
It's hard.
Wow,
you can see my screen, but look at all these wonderful faces. It's really hard to see with the glare, but there we go.
That's amazing.
Isn't that awesome? So I put this near my booth to get me ready for when I'm gonna jump in.
Yeah, there's Janet Leigh in the shower, and
Yep.
Beautiful.
Whoop.
Isn't that great? And
Wow.
and the other poster before I switch over is Spock singing if he was in a band. Is this geeky enough?
Come now, ladies, and value your wine.
And the best part is not only is he singing and playing his telltale instrument.
That's an
the
auto
backup
harp,
singers-
isn't it?
Is that Furby?
No, this is the
Or
what's it
Furble?
called? This is actually an
It's an
instrument
auto
he
harp.
plays in the original series.
Yeah, it's like
It's
well,
a
it's
Vulcan
it'd be an auto harp
stringed
if it had the keys. Yeah, it's a zither basically, but
It's
it's
a
a weird
Vulcan
futuristic
zither,
zither.
but the tribbles
Yeah.
as the backup chorus.
Awesome.
Oh yes, beautiful.
So
Amazing.
It
That's
cracks
great.
me up
Those are on
that
my
you've got in both Next Generation and the original, you have these two super logical characters, both Spock and Data, who then thereafter get super into music. I mean, Brent Spiner is a phenomenal jazz singer, absolutely phenomenal jazz singer.
yeah, but what about Robert Picardo as the EMH? He is a fabulous singer and comedian, and I love his whole opera arc in
he's great.
Voyager.
I can't say I know it.
There's a really great picture of Robert Picardo wearing a "Trust Me, I'm a Doctor" T-shirt, but it's got the TARDIS booth underneath the phrase.
Of course, he loves the fandom and the nerdery, and his YouTube channel, by the way, is fantastic. He does sketch comedy all the time, and it's usually him and him, multiple hymns in different costumes talking to each other.
Fair enough.
So,
Nice.
good stuff.
Love that guy.
Show us another one, Chris.
Okay, so this one is really pretty odd. It's so I'm pretty unapologetic lefty. I've always been a lefty. So my politics are definitely very left of center, definitely left Democrats.
I'd love,
but I've never been a full-on communist or anything. But I did read Marx, and I read a lot of political theory on the left, and I was kind of fascinated by Ho Chi Minh and basically Vietnamese communists. Not so much that I agreed with everything that happened there, but it was a very, very weird kind of emotional time in history for both this country and that country. But I found this in a stoop sale in Park Slope, Brooklyn, where I lived, like literally a block from my apartment, right? Of course, where else would you find a Puerto Rican Communist Party poster that says "Victory in Saigon" with a picture of Ho Chi Minh?
Oh boy!
Wow.
So this is actually the cover of the Workers' Daily newspaper in Puerto Rico, right? The communist newspaper in the '60s, and it's signed at the bottom. It says, "Rebecca." Oh God, my Spanish is not good enough, but it's something like, May the workers be victorious, or it's
may the will
like
of the people follow you.
Yeah, can anybody read Spanish well?
No.
Yeah, it's too small anyway. You can see the writing at the very bottom there. Yeah. So it's a dedication from an uncle to his niece, just saying basically, when you get older, maybe the workers will have triumphed over the capitalists and we'll live in a workers' paradise.
I think it's interesting how
anyway,
similar that is to a lot of the Che posters and a lot of the Che imagery.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's the thing about Che. It's really interesting is he became like basically a meme, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the most capitalist thing in the world happened to him, right?
Yep.
He became something that's traded on the internet, and all meaning has been emptied from his face, right? There's no meaning anymore in that face. It's all basically. I think once Shepard Fairey did the work with the ape from Planet of the Apes with the shade, beret and positioned like the famous picture of Che Guevara. That basically was it for Che Guevara in American culture. He didn't mean anything anymore. Okay, I'm going to move on to comics really fast. I don't know how much time we got, but
oh yeah, I gotta go soon, but I want to see your comics.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to
bring on the comics.
Well, the thing
I
that
finally
really
finished
got me into
putting all mine
comics
away.
in the 70s was Underground Comics, and specifically Zap by Robert Crumb's original comic book. So here's the original issue, Zap Zero. Yeah, it's very strange, not safe for work in any way, by any judgment.
And he's opening it.
There's a lot of really bizarre sex, bestiality. I mean, it's just whatever popped into this guy's head was on the page. But it's also, kind of really amazingly inventive and unique. So I've got several copies of this, so I can show you, the artwork inside.
Now,
he's got a very distinct
the
style.
Futurama character Zap Brannigan makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, right. So you can kind of see.
Yeah, it has a very. Was he also an illustrator for Mad as well? Do you know? Or
no, he was more. I think he didn't even fit in that much.
Wow.
He was basically his own thing. Started his own comic publication, and then basically paid a distributor to distribute it for him. But here, this is a better example of his work. I think it's much more cartoony than the other one. But
it almost looks Sunday cartoon.
Yeah, it's very inspired by like 30s and 40s, like Minnie Mouse and stuff. Mr. Natural is one of his famous characters. You guys may have seen that character on TV.
Yeah.
He also invented Fritz the Cat, which got bastardized by Ralph Bakshi and became a movie. It's a pretty funny movie, but he disowned it because he was like, no, this is not my original thing anymore.
Right.
But anyway, his stuff is pretty amazing. It's really 60s looking, really, acid generation. He lived in Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco, but he hated hippies, famously hated hippies, and he didn't do any drugs, or so he said. I think he did drugs because you don't make stuff looking like this.
Was there a documentary about him?
Yes, there's a great documentary by Terry Zwigoff called Crumb, and it's about not just him but his brothers, and his family is insane. I mean, I say that not lightly. I mean, some of them criminally so.
Wow.
And one of them committed suicide right after the movie came out because he just couldn't stand having been exposed as a weirdo.
Oh yeah,
I might have seen that. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's really good. Anyway, so Zap, and I've got a bunch of other Zaps here. And Bob, Aline and Bob, he got married, and this is the comic that his wife is also a comic artist. This is where he drew himself and she drew herself, and they're often naked in this, for various reasons.
Right
so it's called Aline and Bob air their dirty laundry.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Anyway, really, really cool, weird stuff. Okay. Next on the, I'm just gonna skip right to Los Bros Hernandez, which is my all-time very favorite comic book artist group. It was three brothers, Jaime, Gilberto, and Mario. And in the 80s, I think the early 80s, let's see if there's a date on this. I don't know if there's a date on that. But in the early 80s, they started making these comics called Mechanics, which were drawn by Jaime Hernandez.
Yeah.
And it's very much comic strip style. Can you see that? That's Maggie the Mechanic. Maggie became a character that is still going. He's still drawing comics of Maggie. She's lived in LA since a couple years after this series. But this series is really more like a sci-fi series, weirdly enough. There's like dinosaurs. They're working on this island. There's like, really all kinds of strange, but it's also like action, romance. And it's really well known for really powerful, super important female characters. In fact, most of his characters are women. Definitely most of the important characters are women. The men are kind of like sidelined a bit. And it ended up becoming a series called Love and Rockets, which spawned a band called Love and Rockets. Had nothing to do with it. They just took the name.
Yeah.
And then has since become a bit more famous in various other things. But that was a large format comic magazine. So there's some more of the mechanic story in Love and Rockets. Yeah, I love his artwork. It's just so cool. Everything inside is black and white, of course, but okay. I'll just show you one more comic book cover from Love and Rockets. I wish I had a poster of this. One day I'm going to get a poster of this. I freaking love this image.
Yeah.
Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah.
And for anyone who's watched The Boys on Amazon,
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
for like babies with lasers in their eyes.
Yeah, I feel like there's a whole story behind this one image that he never even wrote a story around this. That's just the cover. That's it. Okay, so jumping on, I've got a whole stack of Love and Rockets. I mean, a ton of them because
So you said that's still ongoing?
No, Love and Rockets stopped, but what he's doing now is here. Let me show you real quick. No. Hang on.
I had a cat, but she went away.
It's cracking me up, Bonnie, because your chair in the background there is a chair that I had in my old office. Exact one.
The one I'm sitting on?
No, the one
hardbound
behind you.
This one?
Yeah.
Volumes.
Oh, you mean the stool?
Of the characters, kind of, basically as they get older.
It's for my standing desk. Because it raises. So
we had
the two central characters that lasted the longest in this are Maggie and Hopi, and Hopi basically was her lesbian girlfriend. They both had heterosexual relationships occasionally too. Or actually, Maggie did. I don't know if I think Hopi was a lesbian, but but these stories follow them all the way through their basically middle age, and right now I think I guess they're like in their 50s now, but he's still doing comic books about them in their 50s.
Wow.
And they're usually more hardbound, editions because they sell as more collectible kind of items.
And who's the author, the comic book author?
The author is Jaime Hernandez. He's from LA, and his brother is Gilberto Hernandez or Beto.
Oh, okay.
And his other brother is Mario, but I don't think he does any drawing anymore.
Yeah.
I love the idea that the characters exist in real time. So often you'll have characters. You take Homer Simpson, for example, the Simpsons in general. These people exist out of time, and it always breaks my brain as soon as I start thinking about it at all, and I can't help but think about it. So I love when they have these things that extend past,
like Steven Universe is growing up in the series, and they keep making him get older, and to go with the voice actor, which I think is great.
Yeah.
And he's changing, and they're going with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it gives it like a whole emotional component that you wouldn't have otherwise, where you really get to feel like the characters, and it's so moving sometimes. Some of these stories are really moving.
Oh my word, yes.
Gilberto, I should mention that his brother Beto had a series in Love and Rockets called Heartbreak Stoop, which is really absolutely fantastic. It's all about this fictional country in Central America called Palomar, and like these poor people who live in Palomar, and just the stupid shit that goes on in Palomar, and it's very funny and very weird, and Lone Wolf and Cub. You guys probably know about that.
Oh, nice.
This is a really awesome series. Basically a samurai story. This is it's Frank Miller. It's actually an introduction
it looks
by
like
Frank
Wolverine
Miller.
whenever he was in Japan for a second.
Yeah.
That face,
yeah,
and the hair. Yeah.
So this one is the Japanese one, but the American edition of the original Japanese comic. But they made anime movies out of this, and not very well known, I guess. But it's much more Japanese style artwork. You can see.
The one that reminds me of is this. What is it? What the hell is it called? I have it on my shelf upstairs. The Executioner, or the Samurai and the Executioner. Head Executioner, maybe?
Oh yeah, Samurai Executioner. Right. Yeah, Samurai and the Executioner. Yeah. I don't have it.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like.
Oh
my word.
Howard.
This is number 5 and number 6 from the original run. You would think this shit would be worth money. It's not. I guess they've made a lot of them.
I think that that is so often the case with collectibles. There's a weird crossover there, because to some degree you're looking at like, do other people love the shit I love and love it enough to buy it for sort of obscene amounts of money?
Yeah.
But then you also have
that's the key.
The nature of human, we're fairly diverse, and as a result we have fairly diverse wants and needs and loves, and so
there's also supply and demand. Like if there's a lot of the supply, it's not going to fetch a very big price.
But if you've ever gone to horror conventions or comic conventions, you'll find those little nook and cranny shops where suddenly there's this one figure for like $300.
I know.
Right? You could have bought as a kid for $2. And
there's
you
some
might
guy
go,
who's standing there going like, "There's no way I'm paying $300 for that. You're out of your mind."
Yeah.
Yeah. And somebody else is like, "Wait, I'll buy it."
Right.
It's actually worth
I'll pay $400.
Oh,
Judge
dude,
Dredd
Judge
number
Dredd.
1.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is before they even thought about doing a movie. I guess I think this is the very first comic book that it featured this character. So I don't know.
What
Let's see what year
weird
is this?
fucking comic that is. What a weird story that is in
Yeah.
general. Very, 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 very similar, but yet different from the whole, not Terminator,
83.
RoboCop thing, right? Oh,
Yeah.
here they're all clones.
Yeah. Yeah. Brian Boland, who's a very well-known artist, comic book artist now, drew it, but it's 1983. A lot of my stuff is from that period, and I just kept it. a lot of it being really weird underground stuff like this by Richard Corbin, Fantacore.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if you can see that guy's artwork, but he's really got a distinct style. It's very kind of everything's shiny.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard.
It's the airbrushing.
And airbrushing exactly.
bizarre.
Yeah,
That is weird.
pretty weird.
Well, Chris, have you ever gone to a comic book collection store like that one at 6th Avenue in the West Village and inquired if they had anything if you have anything that they'd like to buy?
Well, I mean, I have a good friend of mine runs Forbidden Planet on Broadway. He knows what I have. If I had anything worth anything, he'd be trying to buy it from me because he's got a huge collection. He's one of the biggest comics distributors in the country.
Yeah.
Notch Comics, but also I look on eBay. I mean, that's an easy way to figure it out.
Right.
Just look on eBay and look, what it's actually sold for, not what people are asking, but what it actually sold for. Then you can just get a sense about what it's. Okay, I want to get on to Arthur Sudam really quickly, but first I just want to. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Cerebus. This is a really cool underground comic book in the '80s. Really neat artwork. It's this aardvark, like Middle Ages aardvark. Actually, he spanned eras, but it's really cool stuff. Really funny, weird, very very.
That almost looks
eclectic.
like Bastard.
The guy who drew it turned out to be kind of very problematic. You can tell by looking at him there.
Oh my!
He just looks kind of like a
hardcore douche vibes coming out of that
I was about to say
picture.
Jersey boy, yeah.
I think everybody like basically didn't want to have anything to do with this.
He in the situation running similar circles.
Yeah. Back to the early '70s, the Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers by Gilbert Sheldon. They made an animated movie out of this, and I've seen a little bit of it, and it looks terrible. It's too bad because it's really funny. It's basically these three brothers that, here you go. This sums it up. This is Frank, the oldest brother. Look at what it says there. Can you read that?
Dope will get you thrown.
Dope will get you through times of no money better than money will get you through times of no dope. So it's basically a comic book for potheads, essentially.
Yeah.
Man of his time.
Yeah, which I wasn't really, but I mean, there's all like this is them, their big pot farm, and getting busted. Okay, it's so hard to pass these up. Cheech Wizard, anybody? You guys know this character? What an amazing character! Do you see that? That's it.
It does
just
remind
Wizard's
me
hat
of
with
the 1980s or 70s Wizard?
80s.
Is it eating is that a snail, Dan, or a radish? Oh, it's a turnip.
It's a snail. And this one is really interesting. He says, suck my turnip. Oh, it's a turnip. It says, suck my turnip. It's a really foul-mouthed character who's a wizard. He's got an insatiable sexual appetite, so he's constantly like trying to hit on everything and everyone. It was drawn and written by this guy Vaughn Baudet, and this is Vaughn here. Very unusual person, clearly trans before it was called trans. They probably said he was cross-dressing at the time.
Right.
It's not cool now. He ended up dying because he died from auto asphyxiation, which was like a thing that people did to get to turn themselves on. They would hang themselves for a certain amount of time, then a little release would let them free, and they'd wake up.
David Carradine.
Yeah, and it didn't let go, so it strangled
That
him.
happens.
So, okay, quickly, I'm going to move on to Arthur Sudam.
Kung Fu.
So I grew up with Arthur. He's a friend from New Jersey, and my brother. He was one of my brother's best friends. He was in a band with my brother. He's also a phenomenal guitar player, but he does very Frank Frazetta style, really beautiful oil painted illustrations. Yeah, and he invents these really crazy characters. These are. This is called Charlie and Flytrap. So check out what that is, right? It's a weird dude on top of like a big ass sumo wrestler, right?
Yeah.
So can you think of any movies with that character in it?
Yeah, Thunderdome.
Yes, Thunderdome, Master Blaster.
Oh.
So Master Blaster is ripped off directly from Arthur Sudam's Charlie and Flytrap. I mean, nobody's ever denied that, but for some reason he's never bothered to sue them. But yeah, it's really exactly the same damn character. Okay, I've got a bunch of these which we won't get into, but Eerie and Creepy from the 70s. I mean, look at that cover. I love that. It's so messed up. Okay.
Me when I wake up.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Coffee.
I'm gonna. Oh, also got a bunch of heavy metals. You know, if you guys remember Heavy Metal magazine.
Oh yeah, I've seen the. I think I saw both of the movies at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Somewhere in like I guess the 80s they made 2 movies.
Some of the best rotoscoping I've seen.
Oh yeah, I've never seen either of them. I should, I guess.
There was that, and then at the same time, and it may have been the same era. Again, call back to Wizard. They did both Wizard and The Hobbit. And unfortunately, The Hobbit ran out of money because the dude was doing.
Well, you're talking about Ralph Bakshi, yeah. Wizards, and The Hobbit. No, they were both made. He made it was Lord of the Rings.
No, I know what you're thinking of. You're thinking of the Pauper and the Thief, I think.
No.
Well, he went on
Ralph
Bakshi
didn't.
Which they ran out of money on. But even The Hobbit, they were like, "Fuck, we have no money. Let's rush through these chunks of the film." And had they committed the whole way through, it would have been just this amazing, and it still is an amazing, with the
it looks pretty cool.
His action
style is
mixed
really
with, but holy shit,
yeah,
just to rotoscope every fucking character through the I'll stop.
So
it was cool.
A little side note: if you haven't seen The Cobbler and the Thief, it came out like right after Aladdin came out, and Aladdin was just like so much better because it was a fully realized movie. And what happened with The Cobbler and the Thief was basically it was a 10-year passion project that ran out of money like towards the end, got bought out by like a consortium, and they just shoved it through, and it was awful. But if you go on YouTube, there's a fan edit called like the recobbled version where they have
cobble.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know where they found it, but fans found like the line drawings, like pencil drawings for certain scenes, and they edited out like some musical numbers that were there because they're like Disney makes a shitload of money doing musicals. Let's just shove these in there even though they're garbage. So they edited those out, and what you get is not like the fully realized original intention, but there's like a lot of still like some incredible animation, especially because I think it was drawn with like twice as many frames per minute as most animation was, so it's like really smooth.
Well, and
I wonder why he ran out of money.
Yeah, in addition to that, like he was doing there's actually this really interesting episode I call back to Corridor Digital. They did a whole episode specifically on that with the illustrators react on talking about the process that he went through, and how, if you guys have ever seen when illustrators are going through and they're doing like, okay, from scene to scene, they'll flip the little page back and forth to get the next frame. Well, if you know the film we're talking about, where they then circle around, they're doing like this zooming shot, or what is the equivalent of a crane shot, down into and around into like the top of this tower. The original illustrator, holy shit, the original illustrator did this whole thing with perspective shift and the whole bit well before 3D animation was a deal. So he was doing this all by hand, and then did this all on pieces of paper that were huge. They were like 5 foot by 9 foot. They were massive. For each individual frame, they were colossal. And to look at the animation for it is just gorgeous. But 100% is like, hey, if money was no object, go.
Right.
And it's it is an unfortunate reality that all of us creators need a budget for very good reason.
Yeah.
Something's got to rein us in.
It does.
I have just one more thing I want to show you guys, just because I know we're running out of time. But so I mentioned Arthur Sudam. So Arthur and I did a few different things together over the years. We did a song together in the 80s, which one day I'll share with you. It's really ridiculous. It's like an 80s synth pop song. But he continued drawing and making his own comic books, and eventually became mostly a cover illustrator for comic books. He is now somewhat famous for doing the covers of the Walking Dead comic series, the original comic series with Robert Kirkland. And then he moved on, and this is where he basically made the most money he's made in his entire career, is doing the covers of Marvel Zombies. Do you guys know the series Marvel Zombies?
Yeah.
So yeah, about like 5-6 years, maybe 8 years ago, they started basically alternate universe superheroes from Marvel as zombies. So like the entire world gets taken over by zombies. Everybody's a zombie, including the superheroes. So you get stuff like this.
And Ash has a crossover. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Where he actually shows in the Evil Dead and Army of Darkness actually enter in at some point for some additional issues.
Yeah.
Do you have any of those where it's like
insane.
Ash versus Marvel Zombies?
No, I wonder. But I don't. This is what I love is Cyclops. His head has been severed, so he just holds it up. So these are all like signed and all that certificate. Then he did this series called Raise the Dead. So I've got 2 of those to show you because I think these covers are just amazing. He basically would take famous artwork, famous art pieces, and recreate them as zombies. Right,
Cool.
so here's Norman Rockwell as zombies.
Oh Lord.
Aww.
I have seen those before. Those are amazing.
Yeah, Raise the Dead. I don't know if you can see that. So Arthur Sudam, and then the last one I'll show you is he took Warhol's Marilyn Monroe, and
Nice.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Two-Face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
yeah.
cool.
Okay. Anyway, I've taken up an awful lot of our time, but that was fun.
That was fun.
I would love to get someone who is maybe I wouldn't love this a psychiatrist to come through and be like, let's analyze this. Why do we collect the things we collect? It's got to be fairly illustrative.
I mean,
I think a lot of you guys will understand this too.
Oh yes.
Hold
I've got
on.
that. I've got that rat's nest in my closet.
I recently had to throw out all of mine as it happens.
That's a lot. I got you beat.
Magfest panelist. Is that Magfest?
Whoa!
You definitely got me, dude.
Gross.
Yeah, I'm a novice at this. Bonnie is the pro here.
Bonnie's like,
I've
do you even lift, bro?
I've spoken at a lot of some of them even fell on the floor, at video game conferences and also music conferences.
Yes, you have.
So.
Whoa.
But MagFest is in there a couple times for sure, and GDC, the Horror Film Festival.
Yes.
Yeah.
GDC, excellent.
Yep,
Remember this one?
Yeah, I do. Oh gosh,
the old MagFest.
it's in there somewhere. I've got the shield.
Oh wait, what the fuck is this? This
I've
one's
got
a
Super
passport.
Smash Con in here. I've got.
Where
is
that? This is New York at the Pennsylvania Hotel. Is it?
Nice.
So it was a Hackers on Planet Earth passport. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Did you go to DEF CON? Is that what that is?
No, Hackers on Planet Earth is like a smaller version.
Oh, because DEF CON always happened at Hotel Pennsylvania. Because I had friends who'd go to that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Which we found funny because we were from Pennsylvania and they'd go to Hotel Pennsylvania. I have too many.
Right.
I need to pare this all down.
That's amazing, Bonnie. Holy shit.
Yeah,
you gotta.
I've got music festival. I've got a lot. I used to do a lot of work at the Great Lakes Film Festivals. I used to judge animation category. for them. I've got Magfestuses, I've got multiples of those, I've got...
So you're like probably about half my age, and you have about 5 times the the con badges that I have.
Yeah, and a couple of these are board game cons too, because I'm a big board game nerd. So there's like Origins and
Nice.
WBC. I can't even sit on my chair now. It's like...
Oh, that is so cool. Yeah, I love those things. I love that kind of stuff because it's just like it's such an easy and kind of beautiful way to remember something that happened.
Yeah. Game Sound Con.
Bonnie, it would be hilarious if you wore them all and went to a...
I don't think my body could do
I mean, like, it could be like...
I'd have to wear half facing one way and half in the front, or I'd fall over.
That's like 30 pounds.
It could be a costume.
Well, and there are some places that get very upset about you bringing in other badges and...
Oh, yeah, you have to bring the actual... The security people get mad.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've worn the wrong lanyard before.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
Because they have to make sure you paid for a recent badge and not an old one.
Yeah.
Or that you haven't. I mean, like, if you...
So, carry the current one around on, like a post, like a priest carries the cross around, like, like a banner.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like a relic.
One
of these days I want to separate this all, but it's kind of woven into its own, like... They've glued some of them together through weaving them.
You're never
It's like
untangling
coral.
Yeah.
It's an accretion.
It's like an octopus.
Yeah.
It's definitely... I think it's a great costume party.
I lost a couple on the way over.
It's really a costume party thing.
Oh,
like,
here's my login pass that I forgot to turn in whenever I was an adjunct for the Art Institute.
Very nice.
There's my security pass. I wonder if it still works. I was faculty I taught audio.
You've just given
animation and games.
Some anonymous IT guy a heart attack. He doesn't even know.
If you're watching this, Chris, not you, Chris, but other Chris from IT, I still have it. It's in
Turn the badge off. He's just woken up in a cold sweat. Oh God, I gotta do something.
Yeah.
We're missing a badge. Oh my God, it's been 3 years. Where is she? I've got so many MagFest badges.
What is MagFest?
Yeah, like...
What is that? What is MagFest?
Music and
gaming fest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It
happens in... Go ahead. Somebody else tell.
It's a cult.
DC.
It's a cult?
It's fun. I would go there to perform some, like, the Singing Chickens, and I have an opera called Super Smash Opera, and we would do our thing, because it's basically music and or gaming and some sort of combination. So we would do silly shows and jam sessions until 4 a.m. with a bunch of music nerds. And
oh wow, fun.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
and
there's talks too.
At Dragon Con, if you're up at 4 a.m., there's probably latex and leather involved. That's our call to flame in here in Atlanta.
Yeah, definitely gonna hit it next year.
I've almost gone to that twice.
Nephew is really big into Dragon Con, so his mom takes him to Dragon Con every year. He's 9, I think.
It's pretty fantastic. So even if you don't go to the con and you just go to the like opening day, I think it's the opening day and the following day they'll do a big parade. Where all of the costumed people go through and they walk it, and it is just a spectacle. It's amazing.
What is Dragon Con?
Oh, dude, go look it up because it's just phenomenal.
Do I want that in my browser history?
No, you do.
Yeah,
it's not like FurryCon.
It's kind of like Comic-Con, but more fantasy and
okay. All right.
Yeah, it's
Dragon Con.
Lots of cosplay though,
and a lot of gamers.
Yeah. Oh my word! It has become just colossal in the last 5 years. I mean, at this point, I don't know if you guys know Atlanta much, but it basically takes over all of Atlanta for 3 or 4 days. I mean, a year in advance, all of their hotels are booked for that entire weekend, and it's almost always Labor Day weekend.
It's similar to PAX takes over Seattle, and PAX East takes over Boston, and now there's PAX Unplugged, which takes over Philly, which is the board game one, which I went to 2 years ago for my birthday, because it was my birthday weekend. Best birthday ever. playing a bunch of board nerds and seeing speedrunners giving talks. It was good. It was a nerdy time.
But it's
there's conventions coming up now in New York, right? I think there's a few.
I think so.
Comic-Con.
I mean,
but with the pandemic, I don't know. I mean,
I would click over to the Dragon Con because I'm part of the Dragon Con Discord for digital media, and I would click over to it, but it would click over to it in the stream as well, so I won't do so. But it is huge. They take over 3 hotels. It's an entire massive holy shit kerfuffle.
I wonder if they're having New York Comic-Con now.
I would imagine they're probably trying.
San Diego Comic-Con, bananas. And another one, the Cisco Developer Conference, like downtown San Diego. You're not getting in to that whole part of the city. They rent out city blocks. It's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, Captain Cisco is still a big draw, apparently.
Shut up, Chris.
You're not talking about the rapper?
I just know if I was ever attending Origins
with the Q,
or
Cisco with the Q.
Yeah. If you're ever going to attend anything big, always reserve your stuff like at least 7 months ahead of time, or you're going to be scrapping at the end for something if you're trying to get a room.
That said, if any of the people here on the stream right now want to come to Dragon Con next year, presuming they have it because we haven't all died of a plague. But except not, because holy shit, get your vaccines.
That's why I'm not going to MagFest this year.
Right. You're welcome to let me know, and we'll host you here.
Where is it held?
Atlanta.
Which one, Dragon Con or Mag?
Oh, Dragon Con.
Atlanta?
I have an in with MagFest.
Yep, Atlanta.
Okay.
Atlanta, which no one says anymore, and I'm sad about because I think it's awesome.
Right.
Because every city is now hot for climate change.
It's accurate. The inconvenient
one day I want to go. If it's safe to go, I'd love to go. We should do a panel about Mandible Judy.
Dude, don't think it's not been a thing we've discussed, because we've certainly discussed it. We've been talking to Chuck, who's the guy who's in charge of digital media, and the podcasts are huge. In fact, not only that, but also, and all of you should check it out, Mercury, A Ray of Hope, or A Broadcast of Hope, is the Atlanta radio theater company. It's very, very cool bunch of guys. They're on that all the time. They actually have a very neat shtick. Every day they post a new episode, and it is only live for that day, and they take it down. If you're part of their Patreon or what have you, then you can get it in their archive. But yeah, they're very kind of an immersive thing. They've been going on for like 5 years now. They have some stupidly huge amount of footage. It's impressive, but yeah, they're a part of it, and it's a whole big thing here. So Mandible Judy, if and we can, we'll absolutely have a panel.
Yay!
Yeah. I mean,
and maybe if not live, we can do a digital one.
Fuck yeah!
We're good at this, right? We got our act together now.
We certainly do.
Sort of show and tell and things.
I was just too excited. I just couldn't do it tonight because I just had too tough of a day, but so I couldn't go. I just don't have the energy.
Gumby's back. I'm sure this is not the last Nerd Collectible episode. I know.
Ride that pony.
Who didn't show stuff has to show stuff next time. That's the rule, right?
So as we've been talking, I've been disassembling because I can't not. So I have now I'm screwed because I have to figure out how the fuck I put this back together again.
In that note, I've got to peace out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been up since 6 a.m. I'm falling asleep.
I hear you.
Long day of recording sessions.
Folks on the stream, thank you so much for attending. Thank you for coming in and showing your nerd, letting your nerd flag fly. Let that freak flag fly.
Thanks, Bonnie. Thanks,
on
Clayton.
that note,
thanks, Mark. Thanks, Glenn. Thanks, Amanda.
Stay safe, stay healthy, get your vaccines, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.